There you go. What up, man?
There you go. I'm so
Hey.
sorry I'm late. Hello,
Don't get you don't apologize. You're supposed to be on time.
hello. I'm sorry. Let me get some better lighting in here. That better.
All right,
Oh,
so he's gonna later on right now. He's running a little bit. But first and foremost, I want to thank y'all for coming on here to talk about y'all experiences and giving knowledge. So, so
definitely.
kick things off. Can y'all introduce yourselves, your names, where y'all from, and what y'all do?
Ladies first.
I knew you was gonna say that. I just knew it. Switch it up. So I'm Mel. A lot of people call me Meela Belle, but Mel, if you really know me, I'm 23 years old. I'm a self-published author and a mentor, and I'm an aspiring public speaker because I'm currently working on it. I mentor at the Up Center, which is a community outreach program, and the Chesapeake Juvenile Jail. So that's what I do. I love people. That's my thing. That's my specialty.
Okay, nice to meet you.
You too.
My name is Sherrod. I should close this one. I'm gonna close this one in a second. My name is Sherrod. I am a graphic designer, fine artist, tattoo artist. I am a middle school and high school teacher, so I currently teach graphic design, graphic
Oh,
arts. I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey, so I'm currently teaching in Plainfield, New Jersey. So I'm just giving back to my community, giving back to the community that raised me. Um, and yeah, like I'm a big mental health advocate, so a lot of my work is centered around um, mental health and being a person of color, and going out into the world and like having these different experiences and stuff. So yeah.
nice.
All right. Those who are watching, if you don't know how you, my name is Clay. I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey as well. So, yeah, 24 years old. I'm a YouTuber, content creator. I'm in the military, specifically in the Navy. I'm also a host of this podcast called Conversation Culture. And I pretty much just, try to make sure the community is good, giving them insight and just being a stand-up, black person, because we've been through a lot, and definitely a topic that must, be talked about, right?
Yes.
And my whole mission for this is to be able to come on here and be able to allow our family and friends to kind of just like understand that there are people in our community who cares about mental health, and it's not something that we're putting to the side. And the crazy part is, the whole world, some may know about mental health or have some type of small knowledge about it. But I was having a conversation earlier. I'm like, it is different when it comes from people that
Mm-hmm.
instead of strangers, across the world, across the state. So
Yes.
I'm platform. Um, To kick things off, I'm going to define mental health, and this is coming from the Urban Dictionary. Everyone else has their own, definition. So it says, person's conditions are
Are you
psychological.
are you covering your speaker? Because you're going in
Oh,
and
you can hear
out.
me?
It's yeah,
Mm,
it's going in and out. You might be covering.
Probably gonna have to hold my phone like this. Can you hear me now?
It's better.
Yeah, it's a
All
little
right.
bit.
So yeah, I'm going to read the definition of mental health, and this is coming from the Urban Dictionary. And I said, of course, everyone has their own definition of mental health. So it says a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. What do you guys prefer as mental health in your own words?
In my own words, mental health is just being like conscious of your feelings and how they affect your your day to day, your mundane. Um, so like if something is thrown off by something that you felt or something like that, that stems to your mental health.
I would say
Okay.
like it's genuinely and truly how you feel. And I emphasize genuinely and truly because a lot of times I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm
Yeah,
straight, and you're not. So mental health is like, but how do you really feel? Like truly in the inside, how do you feel? How do you feel when nobody's around? How do you feel when you're by yourself? What type of things are you thinking? So genuinely and truly, like how you feel.
Okay. All right. So to kick things off, I came up with acronym is called WIT, and it's going to help us like navigate through this whole entire conversation. And with W, we're going to start with why do we fail at reaching out for help?
Why do we
Oof.
fail? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go first because I'm gonna just second with this one.
Okay. Why do we fail at reaching out? I'll just say personally, I'll start with like for me. Personally, when I found myself going through like serious mental health issues and depression and stuff, I found it hard to reach out because I felt like, oh, like the people around me aren't gonna understand. Because like how do you, especially in a Black community, how do you explain to somebody like I don't feel okay? Or how do you explain to somebody like I have really dark thoughts? Like I don't know if I'm gonna make it to tomorrow. Like how do you say that to somebody without them saying, "Oh, you gonna be all right," or just pray, you okay? Like they don't ever take the extra step. So I feel like a lot of us fail at reaching out because we don't think that will be understood. You can be heard and not understood. So I feel like people will hear us, but they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And especially as us being in the younger generation and dealing with so much, like it's an excuse for everything. Like anytime you tell somebody you don't feel okay, it's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. So I think that we really feel like reaching out because we don't feel like we'll be understood. I hear you, but like I don't really understand. How do I even help you? Like what does that even mean? So I know for me personally, that's what I.
And I feel like that kind of. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that that sucks when you said that people ignore. You know what I'm saying? Because later down the line, when this person is no longer with us, it's like, damn, I could have did this, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where we need to take accountability and be like, hey, actually sit down with this person, because for me, like it'd be hard to really like see if someone's really going through something because they're that good at hiding their emotions or hiding what they're going through. So how can we get past that and actually see if this person is okay, so
Yeah. For me, like for me, I'm still struggling with this, and like it's something that I'm very conscious of, and I'm working towards like with in my personal mental health journey, and reaching out for help, like when I do need help or when I am struggling. For me personally, I would 100% piggyback off of what you said, like that it's not really like it's not open arms all the time.
yeah.
Like when it's like when you're speaking up about like mental health and like what you're struggling with, and then the extra layer of being a Black man, um, it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's like the extra layer of like, all right, you gotta toughen up, you gotta,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, chin up, chest out, you gotta go to work, you gotta pay your bills, you know what I'm saying? Like it comes down to those things rather than just, oh, you're gonna be all right. It's gonna be like, nah, like you're gonna be all right, but you still gotta do this, that, and the third. So for me, it's like I've been reaching out to the people that, you know what I'm saying, that foster growth in me and see me on the everyday and like notice like if I'm off or something like that or like call it out or something like that. Then I'll reach out. I'll start reaching out to those type of people. Family. Like just because family is blood doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, family's
Yeah.
gonna always be accepting. So it's realizing who is actually on your team and who's actually like rooting for you too. So it's really about finding your
Yep.
community of people who you could call on
Yep.
to reach out to. So I feel like people fail to reach out to others because of that lack of like connection and lack of understanding for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Especially, I know we can talk about like the Black community because we are Black. You know what I'm saying? This is what we know. But just growing up in the Black community at a young age, we weren't taught to show emotion. I'm pretty sure you guys heard this over 1,000 times. Like we weren't taught, to show our emotions. So imagine when we get, away from our parents and we're on our own. It's like, dang, all right, how am I going to navigate through this world without, having any, type of emotion, right? I think you're
You
good
like
at.
kind of
Hear you.
Am I good now? Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so I might be a person that that's good at showing my emotions, but if how can my friend, how can I be able to say, hey man, it's all right to show your emotions, let me know what you're going through. I can say all that, but at the end of the day, it's like they still might have this barrier up and say, hey, I'm not used to this. I don't know what to do. And at that point, you kind of just be like, yo, I don't know what to do. You know, say I don't know how to be there for my friend. Or you could also tell them, hey, you know, go to a support group to see how you can get help. But for me, I think it comes down to just like starting at a young age and being able to, you know, teach your kid, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to open up and, you know, be emotional because
Yeah.
you can, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to see yourself going through that dark hole because for all of us, we all know that it's hard to get out. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a big issue or a small issue, depression is a real big thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
when I see people our age pass away due to this, you know, situation, it's like, damn, I could have done something, she could have done something, he could have done something. So it's an ongoing situation that needs to stop.
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
I would like to add too, like growing up, on why I failed to like reach out. Growing up, I've always been like the angel, or like
Yeah,
the golden child,
yeah,
or like the one that's always gonna be in the books, gonna always be into something, always do the extracurriculars, always do the extras, you know. So it was like it was always hard for me to take a L, or like to fail, or like to feel like I'm down, or like I'm less than. But those are natural emotions, and like growing up, I had to realize like it's okay to feel that way, but it's how you maneuver in feeling those emotions. So that's why like I feel like in the community it's hard to reach out because you always got to stand on, you know what I'm saying, always got to stand on your tens.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
and then just to piggyback off of that too, like for me, you know, I come from around, we come, you know, playing for New Jersey, so it's like sometimes I'm not gonna just speak on just where I come from, but in general, like especially in the Black community at a young age, we have these certain things that we cope with in their drugs and alcohol, and that definitely is the what's the word I'm looking for? It it adds more on top of that depression mindset. That's what I'm trying to say. So we got Kmil in the building, so I'm going to go ahead and add him.
Okay.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
What it is
What's going
Yo,
on, man?
going
Um,
on?
can
Feel
you
me?
go
Like
ahead? Go ahead. Uh,
I was gonna say, feel me, and like I kind of touched base. I kind of heard a little bit from what I was saying.
yeah.
So what's going on?
So, can you introduce yourself to the people? Your name, where you from, and what you do?
Okay, perfect. So my name is Kmil Pryor. I'm a fashion designer in the car business. I've been doing this for 4 years, and yeah, I mean it's moving pretty, pretty well. I'm in the Middlesex area of New Jersey, so like Plainfield, and that's how me and Clay know each other. So Plainfield is where I also grew up. Plainfield is also where I grew up as well. Make sure it's just straight. But yeah, Plainfield is also where I grew up as well. And I went to school in different areas. So, I learned a lot and been around a lot of different people. So, it's been a journey, but I'm just glad to be a part of this right now too in terms of this panel because, I myself I go to therapy, so I understand the importance of, mental
Yeah.
health. And that's why I would definitely want to be in support of this as well.
All right. So we start off with. So I have acronyms. WYT. The first one was W, and the question was, why do we fail at reaching out for help? If you could chime in.
Why do we fail?
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion, I feel it's maybe vulnerability. It's not easy to do because it's like we're pretty much like wearing our heart on our sleeve, and some people run from that because it's like, it's not easy. That's the moment for you to be to vocalize what it is you're going through and to be transparent. You don't know how that other party, might actually react to what you're saying or how they might feel about what you're saying too. So it could put a person in a position to not even want to reach out at all and like, look, I'll figure it out on my own. And then, like I was mentioning when I came in, is going to substance. I noticed that becomes a cult because it's like an
Yeah.
escape,
Yeah.
truthfully. So in
I,
reality, you're working backwards fast, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So and tests show it too, So that's one thing that I would say though for sure.
all right. So we're going to move on to the why, and pretty much this is like kind of where we get deep, and it's kind of like talking about our own personal experience dealing with mental health,
Hmm.
or if you haven't got that far, or just a time where you was actually like, you know, not yourself. If anyone who wants to start.
I'm reading the comment too. People don't want to be judged or looked at as a sad case, but no one hear me out. Yeah, that too. That's also important too. Being judged, that's very, very key.
Yeah.
And that
Mm-hmm.
very, very important. So I'm sorry, what was the other one? You said the why?
So yes, you know, why is just basically talking about your own experiences dealing with mental health, or just even being in that, you know, that dark room. So.
I
Yeah, I can
I guess I could start.
okay. I'll go.
You want to go?
It doesn't matter. I can or you can,
Go ahead.
regardless.
Go
I'll go
ahead. You
after.
go.
Let me go first. Okay. So for me personally, like I said, I'm a mentor and I'm an author. And it's crazy because the book that I wrote is called How to Beat the Odds, Creating a Warrior Mindset. So in there I detail a lot of like hard times that I've been through in my life. So I talk about dealing with depression. I talk about suicide. I talk about, but it's not the focus of the book isn't okay. I'm so depressed and I went through this. The focus of the book is like getting through it. Hence chapter 3 and 4, which is going through and getting through. But for me personally, I'm just 2 years out of actually attempting suicide and having to go through like everything that follows after that. So for me personally, like be in a place where you're so low, and a lot of what we said goes into play. Being vulnerable, not knowing like how is somebody going to react to me telling them I don't feel okay, how my family not going to pay me no mind, they're not going to listen to me, or they're not going to understand me when I say like I'm just not okay. All of these different things like played a part into me feeling like I can't reach out to get help before getting to that point. And if you don't reach out and you don't find somebody that can help you, you get to that point of just holding it until it just kind of overtakes you. So going through that, and a lot of people have such a crazy idea about psych centers, because I went to a psych center for 3 days, and it's like anything in life, is what you make it. So I chose to use that as time to heal. I chose that, and I go to therapy now still too. But I chose to use it as a time to heal because I'm like, this doesn't have to be my normal. I don't have to struggle every day with, do I want to be here? Do I not? Like, oh my God, this is just beating me down. Like I chose to say like, this is not going to be my normal. It doesn't have to be my normal. So being in the psych center, I chose to take that time to heal and get to the root of like what is actually causing me to feel like I'm so defeated. Because I feel like a lot of mental health is feeling, it starts with some type of feeling of defeat or some type of feeling of failure or some type of feeling of like inadequacy, and it grows, and then you have a whole problem that you can't like contain. So yeah, so for me personally, I when I was in the psych center, for me that's when it turned around, and this was 2 years ago. So um, I took that time to say, like I said, I'm not going to be defeated by this anymore. I know I have purpose because God still got me here, so I know that I have purpose.
You said it
So
right
for
there.
me, like, and I feel like that when you're going through mental health or dark times, and you still wake up every day, and sometimes you're like, why am I here? God has a reason for you because people die every day. So like if you're struggling and going through stuff, you're gonna have to ask yourself, like, God, you still got me here? Yeah, that's a big deal. And I think for me, realizing that as well was like huge. Like, God, you still want me here?
I don't mean
I don't feel like I'm
I
good enough, but you know.
I don't mean to
So
cut you off,
no,
but
you're good. You're good.
like people don't realize like every day that you wake, every morning that you wake up, God gave you another opportunity.
Another
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 blessing.
little God gave you another opportunity to keep it going. If you messed up yesterday, today's a new day. You know, to change that. You know, no one's gonna judge you. The only person who's gonna judge you is yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Just get
true.
up, do it again, and you know what I'm saying, improve yourself. So I'm gonna cut you
No,
off.
you
I
good.
just wanted to say that.
And I love you too. I see the comment. But yeah, so that's what for me is just choosing not to be defeated. That's a big part of it because you have to make the choice to say, I'm not gonna go through this. So like I said, for me, I'm in the psych center. Like, you know, my life is completely blown up at this point. You know, then you go through that shame, you go through that embarrassment, you go through all these different things, and then it's just like, all right, well, those feelings are not from God. God doesn't create those type of feelings. So if I'm feeling this, I know it can't. It has to be temporary. So yeah, just realizing that, and like I said, putting my energy and my story into a book because I'm like, if I'm going through this, and I feel like I didn't have nobody, I have to tell somebody what I'm going through so that it can help them because nobody else should have to go through this
Yeah.
And if I can tell them, like, forget shame, forget all that stuff. If I can tell them what I've been through to help them, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And like, it's crazy because when I released the book, up until the point of me releasing the book, nobody social media wise had known what I had went through. So for them, they were like, "What?"
Yeah.
But a lot of people weren't. It wasn't a judgmental thing or anything. Like, oh my God, thank you so much, because I didn't even know that you, being who you are, went through something like that. And
Yeah.
you got through it and stuff like that. So it's a beautiful
If
thing
she
when
could do it,
you
if
can.
she could do it, I could do it.
Yeah, like, and
Like,
not even like, I'm a very humble person. I'm like a little mouse. I don't like a lot of, but I love people, and that's something that I will always put my heart on the line for when it comes to people. And yeah, it's really near and dear to my heart. So that's
And
my whole personal thing.
they say one book can save you 5 years, so maybe your book is one of them. You know?
I
You said
like that.
what?
I like that.
One book can save you 5 years, so maybe your book
Wow.
is definitely one of
I
them.
always say somebody, something.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's my whole spiel.
Okay.
So
You want
you were saying,
you want to go? Yeah, you go.
wait, I still trying to think about my moment because you said the question is a why, right? I just
Like,
want to
Have
make
some
sure.
water.
yeah, your own experiences, dealing with mental
All
health
right,
or
bet.
just, being in that dark room.
Okay.
So I just want to say, like, you have a great story.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
you have a great story, and like you're paying it forward. Like, and
Thank you.
that's what I love to see. Like how you take your experience and, like, you know what I'm saying, like paying it out for somebody else so they can see it. Like, so they don't have to go through the
Yeah.
same thing that you had to go
Thank you.
through. I'm getting a little choked up right now
Oh my
because
God, don't start.
so like my all right, keep it real with y'all.
we
My
we got you.
experience with mental health has been very, very shaky for plenty of years. So my journey really started when I lost my older brother to suicide. So I was
Mm.
in school. This was my first year. I was a freshman in college. Like everything was lit, like parties, jumping, like you know what I'm saying, in the dorms, like having fun, like just literally experiencing life outside of Plainfield. This is my first time really leaving Plainfield and experiencing different cultures, different people. So I was just absorbing everything. It was like a great time. Um, I get a call that my older brother had committed suicide. And, like my life just like my whole world just came to a crash. Like I felt like life hit rock bottom. I didn't want to go back to school. Like I didn't want to continue doing anything. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Like I didn't want to be around nobody. And I don't know. Like my brother was like my yin to my yang. Like we was like oil and water. Like I was always looked at as like, oh, the honors kid, the bookworm, like the kid that's always in something. And he was always the sporty one, the rebel. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like different types of people. But like that was literally like one of my best friends. So that's when my mental health like had really like came to a crash. And like I was in school, so like the dealing with relationships, dealing with class work, dealing with social life, like dealing with the loss of my brother, like it just was a lot on me. But then COVID had came, so then COVID was like for me a chance to sit down and like really take a break. So then that's when I started therapy. Um, I found that therapy like is definitely like kind of like shopping for your favorite brand at the store too. Like one therapist is not going to be like your first therapist is not going to always be the therapist for you. So you kind of got to shop around and figure out what your therapy is, because I had to learn too that therapy is not only just going to a certified person. Therapy could be talking to your friends. Therapy could be getting outside. Therapy could be, you know what I'm saying, chilling with your family. Like I'm getting choked up because I don't know. Like
Take
it's
your
hard for me to talk
time, bro.
about it.
Take
Like
your
my
time.
own
Take your time.
personal experiences. Like I could talk about like the book stuff all day. Like talk about my personal experiences is harder. So yeah, I had to realize that therapy is like it comes in different forms and facets in life too. Um, so I started going to a therapist. They ended up prescribing me with antidepressants. So I'm taking antidepressants while I'm in school. I'm in a room by myself. It's COVID. Like I feel like I'm literally going crazy. My mom calls me, and my mom like had me like have a wake up call. She's like, "Why are you so
Mm.
angry?" I'm like, "I'm not angry." Like I'm literally screaming at her, "I'm not angry." I'm like, and I had to like check myself. Like I'm like, hold on. Like I'm actually yelling at my mom first and foremost. I'm yelling at my mom. Like what is going on right now? Like, and she's telling me that I'm feeling a certain type of way. Like she feeling like I'm off, and like I don't feel off. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? So I had stopped taking that. So then I just like really started reading, like reading, experiencing life, getting outside, like going hiking, going fishing, just like experiencing like the good things of life. That's what really became therapy for me. So I started pouring myself into that, started pouring myself into like inspiring other people, like and letting my like emotions out through my artwork. So a lot of my artwork is based off of like heavy emotions that
Yeah.
I just release onto the canvas.
Yeah.
Um, but
So
yeah, that sums up. That's basically a
Okay.
quick wrap up of what my experience with
I,
mental health has been.
I want to ask you this, like, how does it feel overall to see yourself, overcome that entire situation, like just your brother, and then actually like incorporating, what you love to actually do?
I,
Like, how do you?
I honestly feel like it's a blessing. Like I like it's from God. Like it's from
Yeah.
nobody else but God. Like and like to see where I am now, like to see that I'm teaching at my old high school
Yeah.
is like it's just like a full circle moment where it's like my old teachers are now my coworkers and now I have input and now I can actually make a change of what I wanted to see when I was a student here. And like I'm actually giving these students like what I like, you know what I'm saying? Like what I wanted to see and trying to implement like understanding in a different type of way and like give back to my community. So I really feel like it's a blessing because like I don't know, without the support of my family, without like having faith in God, without you know what I'm saying, like being locked in, I don't know. Like I don't know if I would have overcome all that because it was a lot. Not gonna lie, it was a lot. But God, He got me on the list with the strongest
God
soldiers,
is
and
good.
yeah,
God is good, man.
yeah,
Even though you go through your hard times, it's like I said, like wake up in the morning with eyes open, hey, that's a
definitely.
right there.
Every day is a blessing. Every day is a new
Yeah.
chance
Yeah.
to do something new.
Well,
Facts.
that's well. Thanks for sharing, because I just feel like it's really like when you're someone that it's hard for you to share. Because I was like that for a long time until I started mentoring. I was like, oh, I gotta actually tell them my story. Like that takes a lot to share, whether you on live or whether you just talk to your friends. So I appreciate you sharing that with
Thank
us, and I'm
you.
glad that you did overcome so that you can tell your story, because that's awesome. Like,
and
I like.
and
I
shout out to y'all
respect the
for being
Thank
in
fact
you.
therapy.
I respect the
Black
fact
men in
you saw
therapy,
the
okay?
facts. I respect the fact you saw the strength in it too. You know, you
Yes.
found the strength because you could have made that a weakness for you, bro. So the fact that you
Yeah.
found the strength in it, bro, nothing but
And I
respect
love
to that, bro. Honestly.
how you
Thank you.
put it into your art. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come
Thank
on.
you. And I see how like that affects young black youth too, and just like I take my brother's story as well, and I pour that into my work too. So like I've written like editorials for like college work about like mental health, about like the cycle of self harm and like what it encompasses. Like you were saying, substance abuse and like like actual self harm, physical self harm, or even just like negative like talk on yourself is self harm,
Yeah.
because that's like mental like warfare upon yourself,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
because sometimes we're our biggest enemy.
Yeah.
Sometimes like we just beat
Yeah.
ourselves down over and over and over again, and like you were saying, like it's like every day is a new day, but like some days it's hard to see that because you just see all the negative stuff, all the
Like a
clouds be
cloud over
around.
you.
So
It's like a cloud
Literally
over you.
all the dark clouds just be around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like thank you. And like I see, like I try to be an inspiration and like take what's been thrown to me and like the cards that I've been dealt and try to like play them in the best way possible. Like I try to live as like as moral life as
Yeah.
possible, like straightforward, like you know what I'm saying, as an honest life as possible. So yeah,
Respect.
that's my story.
Respect.
Okay.
Thank you. And I appreciate you guys like being open for me to, you know what I'm saying, like tell my
of
story and
course.
spread that
What the
for
panel about? That's what the
Right.
panel about, man. That's what it's about. That's the beautiful part,
yeah.
bro. Honestly. And Clay, much respect to you too for putting this together, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
But like
in
Yes.
terms of
very
curating this.
important to have a platform. Like I was telling them earlier, like a lot of people know about mental health across the world, but when it comes from your friends or family, and they actually knows that you're talking about this, they know that you care. At least I hope that they know that you care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I can also, well, in terms of you guys like mentioning the therapy part, like I would say you guys gave me a lot of gratitude in terms of my experience with therapy. I've been with my therapist since 2019. You know, I still talk to her to this day, and I say I give me gratitude because, like, you know, she told me because I asked her one of our like first or second sessions. I told her I was like, who's your therapist? Like, who do you get to talk to? And she said something powerful to me in terms of saying like she uses the universe and the people around her as her therapy, and that bent my mind completely because, you know, of course, if I'm being vulnerable with someone, I want to know that they're mentally right
Yeah,
before
for
anything.
sure.
So that was what made me have, you know, appreciation for her. It's the great joy counseling, and yeah, so that was where that came into play, and you know, to kind of go back into the question in terms of my experience, um, I'm gonna be honest. Like I noticed that, like for me with my mental health journey, it's been a roller coaster because I couldn't define that one moment that really changed me because there was so many different ones that shifted me and molded my mind. You know, and as time went on, like I started to get closer to God and hone in more on myself throughout each experience because every single one was different. Some of them was literally like traumatic, and some of them were just like, you know, emotional. Sometimes, you know, I'm grateful I didn't have to go through any physical to also, you know, have to get any clarity for anything. But, you know, just, you know, having peers, having family members, you know, be gone or just situations like that, it definitely did shape my mind because I never like questioned God in a negative way. I honestly would question God, like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
why do I have to
Yeah.
experience this? And
Yeah.
within time, I had to understand how God also teaches. Sometimes God teaches us through trauma, and sometimes he teaches us through people. You know, every lesson is different, but
yeah.
I just pray. I always try to pray that trauma isn't my teacher,
Wow.
Yeah.
you know, and that's what helps the mental clarity part because then I could go through a lesson a little bit easier. I know that you know, the decisions I got to make, you know, I try to lead first with, you know, my gut and just try to lead forth, you know, as much as I can. And yeah, I would say that was like been my thing, but I could say like as I'm talking to you guys, one moment that really shifted me was when I went to college, and like that was my first time ever failing school. Like I went for a football and academic scholarship, but the environment was so different for me. You know, I was to myself,
Yeah.
and I was really literally like alone. You know, like I felt like I had no one to talk to, but besides myself and God. And then I like honed in. I completely broke down, and when that happened, it made me realize a lot more to where I'm like, okay, like this all happened for a reason. I just gotta find the reason within it. And it was tough at first, you
Yeah.
know, it was tough. And then when I came home, like back into Jersey, and I started to go to therapy, I started to talk a little bit more about it and started to get more clarity on really what was going on. So I'm like, okay, you know, this happened for a reason. I just had to find the reason, you know, and then grow from it. And that's what it's been about, you know, just growing through that process. But you know, it was many different things that made me realize like why my mental health was extremely important. And, you know, I just try my best to always keep a clear head and understand the reason, you know, like try to find the reason, like what's the why? Like, why am I going through this? And that's what kind of kept me going, you know, through that process to where I could get clarity in what it is that I'm doing and having the right people around me too. That played a major, major difference because our
That,
peers, you know, it sounds
that's good,
cliche,
man.
but your
That's
peers is
good.
the truth of how you
Yeah.
really are. So
Yeah.
once I started to acknowledge that as I gotten older, it did hurt because it's like certain friends and family I'll probably around. I probably shouldn't really be around no
Yeah.
more because of my mental
Yeah.
clarity. You know,
Right.
so little stuff like that played a factor into the things that I had to change and do. And then again, you know, I journal a lot too. Like I try to hone in a lot on the things that keep me
Yeah.
true to myself. You
Yep.
know, I dance and that's why I also was like minded with you in terms of the painting wise because it just brings me to a space to just like let it go, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just express. Because those times, like you know, that's all I might really want to do. I might not even really want to talk too much. I might just want to
Mhm.
let it out.
Yeah.
So finding that you know that cope has been extremely extremely important to help you know as well with the mental clarity part because you know at that point you know our minds get shifted and then our decision making gets bad when our minds are clouded
Right.
you know so that was
Absolutely.
something I also noticed like what is that cloud. I'll question it a lot, you know, like whenever I'm going through moments, I question the cloud and I try to figure it out. And I try to take myself, like, I call it the Ruppels. All right, so little backstory. Ruppels Griffin vulture is the highest flying bird. I looked at it as that point of view. Take myself out of it and fly in that point of view and look at the situation from the top down. Take myself out of it. Take my feelings out of it. Like, put me to the side, let me look at this from the top down, and then it helped me look at certain situations different. Like, okay, this is this part, this is that part, this is that. And the meditation, like when I do that meditation, it opens my mind up. I still feel it. It still hurts. I might still go through it, but at least that I have an understanding of like how to deal with it, how to express it, you know, what I might indulge more of in or what I should indulge less in and who I should be around more. So stuff like that started to definitely shift within that process, especially becoming a man. You know, they say we gotta, you know, be a man. You can't cry. I ain't gonna lie. There's sometimes I gotta let it out. You know, I can't
Yeah.
not cry. I'm gonna
Me
Yeah.
keep it real.
cry.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real because
Real men
I feel like I
actually
won't be
cry.
myself. I feel like I won't be myself if I didn't. You feel me? Like, oh, I'm just this tough guy. I can't shut a tear. No, if I feel it, I might need to release it to get a little bit more clarity because they say crying is cleansing the soul. So that's I
Yeah,
was just like, you know what? Sometimes I might need to let it out. You know,
got
so
to.
little things like that. But you know, being mindful, controlling it. There's a place and a time for it, but stuff like that is extremely important. You know, that I would say to help with that mental health and that clarity part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, shout out to you.
yeah,
Shout out
respect.
to y'all.
Shout out to everybody now. I'll give, if anyone wants to come in here after we're done with our panel, feel free. Um, so for me, I'm going to be honest. You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, haven't got into that very dark spot or that dark room. But there were times where I felt like my mind was clouded, and
Mm-hmm.
being a part of social media because that's what uh, that's what I love to do. It all drives back to social media. Right? Everyone has an opinion when it comes to social media, and I was at a point where because I've been on social media as far as like doing brand work since like 2018. Um, so that's like post high school, and I always wanted notoriety from the social media standpoint, and I always wanted likes. I wanted people to comment on my stuff, and then I got to a point where I'm like, yo, why isn't anybody showing me love? Why isn't anybody relating to me? And it drove me to a point where I'm just like, I can't do this no more. What am I doing? I need to stop everything. I would go to work, come home, and just shut completely. And again, I'm being honest, I wasn't mature enough to reach out for help. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like someone
Honest.
would, say, hey, put your emotions to the side, keep on going. And we're gonna go back to, me just not being able to obtain those emotions when I was younger. It wasn't taught. So fast forward, I'm in my 20s, just like, damn, I don't know if I should go about this. I don't know if I should, tell my homeboy, like, hey, I'm sad, I'm going through this. And I'm gonna be honest, there was where I was crying, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know, the saying men isn't, you can't cry, don't cry. This is no. So and then I joined the church, and this is recently as well. And I felt all types of emotions when my pastor was talking. And I'm just like, dang. I I thought back to my young age when I was younger, and I'm like, all this time I could have I could have spoken up. All this time I could have displayed my emotions, but
Mm-hmm.
again I wasn't taught, and it's just like it kind of sucked for me. And then with me not being too much like going through dark times, I kind of watched other people, right? And I look back and I'm just like, what can I do?
Yeah.
You may be a stranger to me, but also too, I want to be able to provide help because at the end of the day, you could have done something. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I do cry, especially when I'm on social media and I see people, yearning for help. And I wish I could say something, but I don't want them to judge me or just be like, you're just another person that's faking a funk and you're not actually going to be. So, um, the last one is T. And together, what can we do to solve this issue?
I would say honestly, more of like groups like this, like focus groups, like a space to where we can actually talk about it.
Yeah.
And I say that that's important because it's like a space to just be heard. Sometimes the ear is just all a person might need. They might not need like, oh, come here, give me. It's like,
Yeah.
they might not need that. That might not be the most for that person. But just having someone or just a group where it's like you're not judging, you're all there for the same reason. Because like, let's say you're just out with the homies or you're just out with friends, and you randomly just express it, they're gonna be like, "Ah, bro, why right now, bro? Like, what it is right now, bro? Why you coming like that, bro? You feel me?" So, granted, that might not be a time and a place, but that might have been a time you felt like, I gotta let it out. Now, your right friends hear you out, y'all can start to build, but not all the time. Some people might just be so out of it to where it's like, word, bro, you're gonna get through it, and it's not really like, there's no real closure or comfort. So I feel like, honestly, like conversations like these, where it's like intentional and to speak upon it, and not to speak upon every single thing we go through, but just to maybe hearing someone else's story might also help you out too. So that's why that would be, in my opinion, like something that could be important for people to just have a space to just hear and then also speak if they have the confidence to do it and feel like it's right.
And it's like, I'm gonna cut you off. Also, too, like, if someone is telling you that they're going through something, it's like you can't just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a brick wall in your ear.
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes family members, they do not care, and that honestly sucks. You know what I'm saying? But also, I think it's because of their lack of knowledge when it comes to mental health, or they were at a certain point where they were going through something mental, and that person that they told their situation to, they completely ignored it. So also needs to stop.
I feel like the answer to this question would be like, kind of be like each one teach one. So like anytime you have the opportunity to inform somebody, especially somebody in our community, people of color, and that encompasses all people of color, and all people in general, just all people in general, just people around you, to encourage, like, speaking about their feelings and like standing on how they feel. Because all the time it doesn't always have to be an argument and stuff like that. And also respecting other people's feelings too. Because it's easy to be like, all right, I don't care about that. I got other stuff going on. But understanding like, all right, like I gotta have a little empathy right now. I gotta understand where they're coming from. I gotta see their perspective. Like Kmil was saying, like taking yourself outside, looking down on the situation, figuring out what's going on. Like removing yourself emotionally, to be there for somebody else. Because it's like it gets hard when you got other stuff going on. You got your own mental health going on, especially when you got stuff going on around you too with your homies or with your friends and stuff like that. So yeah, so just always being open to like the corny stuff, like oh you want to cry right now? Let's cry, like let's hug, like let's do it, like so being open to that type of stuff.
Yeah. I would say being mindful of the safe space that we create. So like when I say be mindful of it, like if you've created a safe space for someone, if they come to you about something, be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because being a safe space for somebody, it can be very exhausting, and not exhausting in a bad way, but exhausting in terms of like they need you because now they found someone that, okay, I can actually be safe with this person. I can actually, so just be mindful of that. If you've chosen to be a safe space for somebody, that you can continue to be consistent with it. But with that being said, making sure that you're full emotionally and mentally, making sure that you like, hey God, this person's coming to me. Show me how to help them. Show me how to be there for them, because that's what I do when I mentor. Like I said, I mentor people from personally to kids in jail. So for me, I never know what to say personally. I'm like, God, look, they need to hear something from you. So use me to speak because I'm now a safe space for these kids or these people, and I don't want to let them down. So I think that that's important, that when we choose to be that safe space, that we're consistent. And don't put too much pressure on yourself, which I feel like they kind of contradict each other, but don't put so much pressure on yourself to fix this person's problem, or I have to be the reason they feel better. No, you're there to support. You're there to give them help. You're there to give them love. You're there to listen. Because like you were saying, a lot of times you don't have to say a lot. Sometimes people really just need you to listen and get it out, without them being cut off or told how they felt and stuff like that. So yeah, just be mindful of the safe space that you create, and that you can be consistent and like uphold that. And definitely, if, like I said, somebody's coming to you, like, go ahead, send a word to God, like they need help. Help me help them. So
And not to make their problem yours too,
Right.
being mindful of that.
Yep.
As a
Yep.
teacher, it's so hard because these kids be like, "Oh, Mr. Sherrod, Mr. Sherrod." So, um, yeah, it's hard to not take their problems on and make them my problems because, like I want to help every last one of them. I want to
Yeah.
help you with your situation. I want to help you, but then when you got 50 to 150 kids, it's like, all right, like it's so much going on. So yeah, so just knowing how to regulate what impacts your own mental health.
Mhm.
Um, and I like that you said consistency because that's the big factor everybody like misses when it comes to mental health. Like it's a constant journey. Like it's not just A to B. It's like A B to C to Z. Like so it's like yeah, it's a constant journey.
I think together we could definitely have more platforms like this. Of course, right now we're in our homes right now, so it's a male trying to come back in here. It's very easy to at least a couple of men hear what you have because we definitely have some incredible insight. We all have our own, personal experience. Like I said, some people are afraid to speak up. Some people are afraid to come on live. Excuse me, kind of talk about their own. For me, like I said, I love learning because it makes me a better person, and I've learned from each one of you. I definitely more platforms like this be there for more people, especially in the Black community, because we definitely need help. We can't we can't change ourselves unless we change the community, and we need more platforms like this. So, anybody got any last minute say so's or last advice for keys to the people?
Um, I just always like to like leave the open door for
Yeah.
me personally. Like I said, I do mentor. Like I actually mentor, and I'm in the process of actually getting my license and certification to become a life coach. So I
Good luck with
offer
that.
Yeah, you're
the
That's big.
services, but they're free. So it's not like, hey, give me some money. We won't know. Like if you just feel like, hey, Mel, like, can I just explain the situation to you? Can you maybe give me some perspective? Like you can always send me a message, and I'm the type of person where you can call me. We can get on the phone. We can whatever at your pace. And that's what I just like to leave with everybody if you need, and especially for men. Clay, you know how I am. I am a advocate for Black men. I love y'all. Like I love Black men because
We love Black women.
like y'all
Black men
just
love Black
really
women.
need the support. So I feel like, even for that, because a lot of times people hear mental health and emotions and they think women, but like no, like for like men as well. Like if you like, I really don't know how I feel. Like I'm here for you. Like I'm here for you and
I'm not,
genuinely here for you, not to judge you, not to do nothing else.
if
So yeah.
I'm not mistaken, like the rate for what am I trying to say? The suicide rate for men is higher than women, right? If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. Okay.
I don't even personally know, but I wouldn't be
I believe
surprised
that's
because
correct. Yeah,
yeah, they don't have
yeah.
an outlet, so it gets so bad. So just don't, men specifically, whether you watching or whether you see this later, like don't feel like you can't say anything or it makes you weak. It makes you strong. When you can express how you feel and tell somebody about your trauma, that makes you strong. And that is what makes a man, being able to express and be healthy emotionally. So just keep that in mind because what has been taught is crazy. But like I said, shout out to y'all. Y'all are a great example, Clay, for having the creating the platform to make it a safe space for Black men and women.
Mm.
And shout out to y'all for talking about how you've been in therapy, how you're in therapy, how it expresses, how you're a teacher. How, like I just say shout out to y'all because y'all are young, so y'all are an example for the guys in their 20s and things like that that are like, okay, they cool, but they still take care of their emotions and their mental health. So that's
Top
huge.
priority. Top priority.
Yeah.
I would say too, like, I mean, I would say this is kind of like in and off wise. I will want more of advice in a sense on this topic from, just to hear from everyone. So with us talking about mental health, and I'm gonna just speak more for myself. I'll be transparent. I don't really mind. So I've been going through a transition with my career. Like I said, I'm a fashion designer in the car business, and this hasn't been an easy process. And for quite some time, I was dealing with like being discouraged. So like, what advice would y'all give to a person that in my case, just dealing with feeling discouraged at times, even when you feel like you're accomplishing a lot, there's times where it's like, that again, that cloud is understanding it. and I've been like, building away from feeling that way, but I still want to take in, just feedback and advice. So does it, like, y'all have any points to make when it comes to how to deal with being discouraged?
So I kind of was discouraged when I was kind of like stepping into being a teacher. So like I was studying being a teacher since I was a senior, my senior year of college, which was 2022, and I just became, well, at the end of 2023, I became a teacher. So it was like a whole year and some change that like I was like not really jumping in there. Um, and then I just set the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Like I set the date. And I was like, all right, this is something I got to work towards. And then I had to let go of a lot of things. And that's a big thing. That's the hardest thing to really do.
Okay.
Because God has the door right here for you. You got to walk through that door, but you can't walk through that door with all your baggage. That's what he said. You got to let that go to step through this next door. So if you don't, if you're trying to take everything with you, if you're trying to take the house with you, the house can't fit through the door, because through the door you got a mansion. Feel me? So like you just gotta. The advice that I give is just you gotta let go, let God, and it's okay to sit. It's okay to not know.
Okay.
It's okay to just let stuff be, just be in the air. And that was a hard lesson for that I had to learn in these past couple of years, and doing a career transition and stepping into something new, because I've never taught a group of kids before. Like these kids is roasting me. Like I don't know how to handle this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you just gotta let go and just be a part of the process, and just be willing to step fully into what you want to do. So I don't know what you want to step into fully, or like what you want to like fully do, like what fulfills you or what fills your cup. But like foster that, like pour into that more. And I understand bills gotta get paid, stuff gotta get done. But sometimes it's okay to pull off on a couple things, like if you have a subscription or something like that, you know what I'm saying, that you could throw that towards something else. Like doing those little things that pour into the something that you want, and starting to let go of the things that's holding you back, will help you move into like a new position, and it'll be encouraging too, because now you're working towards something. You set that deadline.
Yo, bro,
That goal.
I don't even mean to cut you off, but that was a moment of God speaking through you, bro. Because today I like finalized. It's crazy you're saying this, bro. I just got like chills. Like today I finalized the opportunity for, so at the mall that I run a clothing store in the mall. I now have the car business, that the dealership that I work for, inside the mall, right next to my store. So now I have to really take in heed to what you're saying in terms of just letting go of certain things. And it's okay to not know. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it's okay
That's
to
the
not
hard
know.
Boy.
Oh, that's
It's
the
the
hard part.
hard part.
But I'm me, like me and Clay said, like Clay said as well, like being a student, like educating ourselves. I want to know, like I'm patient, but I do want to know, because that's where knowledge is power. But it's being patient on God's timing. So
But
I
that's the
thank you for
thing
saying that.
the thing you do know.
Yeah.
You do know what's right there for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you just got to be patient for it. And
That
that's
is
the thing. Like great things take time.
true.
Like great things take time. Like you got to let the fruit grow from the tree. And then
Mm-hmm.
I like not to get all religious and scripture on
Get there,
y'all,
get there.
There,
but
bro.
I was
Yeah,
just
get
reading my
there.
Bible the other day, and I forget the verse and stuff, but like basically the message was saying like God gonna shake those branches that's not producing fruit,
Right.
and he gonna foster and grow those branches that are producing fruit, and it's gonna be the best fruit. Like, and it's gonna grow more branches that are grow more fruit. So it's
Okay.
okay to let those branches fall, because when those branches get picked up, they get tossed into the fire. They become fire. They become like you know what I'm saying? Wood, firewood. They get burned. Like
I
they
would.
toss the edge. So that was my little Bible study.
You brought me to the space.
Bible study.
As soon as you said that the first thing that came to mind is just saying, like, God said, you plant the seed, I'll grow the tree. That's the agreement God made.
Right.
I have to plant the seed, he'll grow the tree. So
Right.
as soon as you say that was the first thing that came to mind, truthfully, bro. So I definitely
But he gonna shake
needed
the
that,
tree.
bro.
The wind gonna blow.
That's true.
The wind
Hey,
gonna
That's
blow.
true.
hey.
But
That's true,
them
but that's
roots
that
is what's gonna
endurance,
hold
though.
you. Them roots is what's gonna hold you.
That's that endurance. So I appreciate that, bro. For real, for real.
No problem.
Look up that. I would definitely say, most importantly, like really follow your heart, right? Because
Okay.
you, at the end of the day, you have yourself. You know what I'm saying? And take your time. Just pray on everything that you want. You know what I'm saying? Everything isn't gonna be all peaches and cream. You know, God shows us what type of season we're in, right? And you just gotta trust in Him. And like I said, just follow your heart and don't let anyone discourage you. Like, don't let.
There you
You
go.
said it.
Trouble.
You said it. You said it. That's important.
My pastor said, he said,
Mm.
don't allow unqualified people to tell you that you're not qualified.
Right.
That's the point I was gonna make. You got it.
Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you are Kmil. You know what I'm saying? You are yourself. And in those times, just talk to God.
Yeah, and he literally like hit on my point, which is remind yourself, because a lot of times it's like we just forget sometimes. God already told you that you're qualified to do this. He chose you to do and walk in what you're walking in and the things that you have. So you're discouraged, but you gotta be like, all right, God, wait, God already picked me. He already got me here, 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 and here.
That's what I'm
He's not
saying.
gonna
That's true.
leave you where you at.
Hey, he's not gonna
He's
just
not
leave
gonna
true.
leave
you
you
out
where you
there.
That's
at.
true.
He's
That's
gonna
true.
take you to that next level, but these moments of I feel like feeling discouraged are vital because that's when you run to him like, God, look, listen, I don't know, but that's the best time. That's the time for him to show out. Literally, that's the time for him
He
to show out.
did.
So the season that you're in is perfect because you're feeling like I don't know, kind of uncertain, That's the time for him to show up and show out so that you can know when you get to this next level, this transition, and everything is closed and done, you can be like, God, that's you. That's all you.
Oh my goodness, you said it. On today, as I was walking, I said, because like I said, for the opportunity that presented itself and now it's complete, I said this was all God. Like I heard it, I felt it. I said this was literally all God at this point. Like I couldn't even take credit for it. I was grateful for, of course, the meeting that I had and the way that we finalized everything. But I said that at this point, from this point forward, it was God before it, and it's that like from this point forward, this is just that now. So
that's right.
I'm extremely grateful for y'all to say that because again, like I was dealing with that discouraged feeling for quite some time, and that cloud, it was now I'm challenging it, and like you said, just lean on him.
Yeah.
So I can't go wrong with that. So y'all hit every single point that I pretty much needed, and the timing for it is great because it's literally happened today.
That's right.
So that's no accident. I look at those as signs, and I'm gonna even pray even harder tonight because it's like, it's the timing for it, and the word that y'all all mentioned, like, thank you. I really needed
You got
that.
it. You gotta be your biggest advocate every day.
Okay.
Every day is a new opportunity.
Okay.
Like,
Yep. You got
That's right.
this. You made for this. It's already done. So
Right.
you probably like, thank you, Lord, because it's already done.
Facts. Facts. So no, I do appreciate that though. But that was my way out, especially we were here in the mental health part. I felt like with the timing and on my way to getting ready to come to the panel, I was like, I felt like this would be a good question for me to ask for myself, and then for anybody else, for the other people that are watching, and for you guys as well. But that hit spot on, so I definitely appreciate it.
Shout out to everybody live right now. It's happening.
Facts.
Yeah.
If one of y'all want to come in, just let me know real quick. But yeah, this definitely is very important to me. Like these are going to be happening every other Tuesday, and I want to learn from everyone that I invite onto this panel, so that we can have these conversations because we can change somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? We want to see everybody, live to an older age. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see someone pass this around me, I kind of like it's here because you know what I'm saying, that could be my brother right there that's going through something, and I'm gonna keep saying I could have helped him. How we keep using that. I could have, but when it's too late, it's too late, So, but that's all we got. I want to thank you guys for joining this panel. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
I know
Thank you for hosting us, Clay.
Y'all personal experiences, but again, y'all can help somebody, or y'all could help somebody in this live tonight. So,
yeah, that definitely helped me for sure.
We got through it. Y'all blessed me. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for allowing me to share my story as well, because I really don't talk much about my personal story, and I'm on live doing it. So,
Facts.
That's what we're here for.
Uncut and raw.
Yeah.
I thank you guys again. All right.
Yo, Clay, appreciate you too, bro.
Yes,
I'm gonna make sure I hit you. Clay, appreciate you too, bro. This was definitely a refreshing moment for me, so I definitely appreciate it, bro.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a safe one.
Bye.